Hello friends, I am Dr. Vinod Kumar Advani, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. Dear friends, in this particular session, we will discuss the last and the final head of income, that is income from other sources. We will cover some topics related with income from other sources. First, we will take the concept of income from other sources. Second, we will discuss some main incomes that is included in this particular head. Third, we will take the deductions that is allowed under this head. Fourth, we will discuss the tax deduction at source. What is tax deduction at source means TDS, a particular topic that is grossing up of incomes. And sixth and final, we will take some rules regarding the provision of grossing up income. So, friends, let us start the topic with the concept of income from other sources. Friends, we already know the total income or gross total income is the sum of the 5 heads of the income. One is salary, second is house property, third is business profession, fourth is income from capital gain, and fifth and final one, that is our today's topic, income from other sources. What is income from other sources? That is very easy. Any income which we cannot cover in first 4 incomes heads, that is known as income from other sources. It means any income which we cannot cover under salary, under house property, under business profession, under capital gain, that we have to put under income from other sources. Now, we will discuss some main incomes that is the part of income from other sources. First, we will start with the dividend income. First, friends, we have to understand what is dividend. Dividend is the part of the profit of any organization that is available for its shareholders or owners. This profit is appropriation for that particular organization, and then it is dividend income for all the shareholders. It is taxable under the head of income from other sources and in the hands of the shareholder of that particular organization. In this particular dividend income, we have to include 3 types of dividend, friends. First, dividend from Indian company, or you can say domestic company. Second, dividend from foreign company, and third, it is dividend from cooperative society. But what is the main point in this particular income? The main point is dividend from Indian company or domestic company is tax free. Why tax free? Why it is exempted? Because company at the time of the distribution of the dividend already deduct the tax from the shareholders behalf. Rest 2 dividends are taxable. Number 1, dividend from foreign company, it is taxable. Number 2, dividend from cooperative society, it is also taxable. Now, let us discuss the second main income of this particular head, that is interest income. In interest income, we have to take all the interest received from an individual, a firm, a body of individual, HUF, a company, central or state government, any government of foreign country or any company of foreign country. So, each and every type of dividend received from each and every type of organization is taxable under this head. This interest can be on deposits, accounts, schemes, certificates, bonds, debenture or any other securities. All interest are taxable under the head of income from other sources. But some interest are exempted under this particular head. These interests are notified by the Government of India for the exemption. Let us start the list of this particular exempted investments that are not taxable interest. Number 1, it is post office cumulative time deposit. Number 2, it is post office saving bank account. Number 3, it is post office cash certificate. Number 4, national plan certificate. Number 5, national plan certificate for 12 years. Number 6, it is capital investment bonds. Number 7, it is relief bond. Number 8, it is special deposit scheme. Number 9, it is special bearer bonds. Number 10, annuity certificates. So, all these interests are exempted under the head of income from other sources. Under the head of income from other sources, our third income is casual income. Any income that is based on luck or chance known as casual income, or in other words we can say a particular income of which the receipt is accidental and not from a particular or a specific source, that is known as casual income. This income is just like a windfall gain for the particular receiver. For example, income from lottery winnings, income from horse racing, income from gambling and betting, income from crossword puzzles, chess, income from TV game show prizes or TV program prizes. At the time of this particular casual income, we have to take all the incomes, but remember, any loss from this particular nature is not taken into the consideration. That is the main point. Income, yes, taxable; loss you have to ignore. Fourth and next topic of this particular head is royalty income. Now, first you should know what is royalty income. Royalty is a particular amount payable on mutual agreement that is based on the consideration of use of any particular special right with prescribed terms and condition known as royalty income. It is a particular consideration we have to pay for the use of rights of intangible or tangible asset to the owner of that particular tangible or intangible asset. For example, the royalty of mines and oil well, that is income for the landlord and oil well owners, and that is the payment made by the leasee or a particular person who works on mines or oil wells. Next royalty is patent royalty. It is income for the patent holder and it is paid by the patent user. Third type of royalty is royalty on bricks manufacturing or making, that is income for the particular owner, patent holder, and the payment made by the patent or license user. Fourth and final type of royalty is copyright royalty, that is income for authors or writers and that is payable by the publishers. So, royalty income cover all type of royalties that is under the head of income from other sources. Next head under the income from other sources, we will take family pension. What is family pension? It is a pension allowed by an employer to the nominee or executor of his deceased employee. This pension is income for that particular nominee and it is covered under the head of income from other sources. Sixth and next income to be included in this head, subletting house, that is very easy. A particular person who take a particular house on rent and this rental house fully or partly he gives to a particular another person on rent, then this house is known as sublet house, and the income received, the rent received from that particular person is known as subletting house income. I repeat, subletting house income. It is also taxable under this head, but do not confuse with this particular income and income from house property. Under the income from house property, we are allotting or giving our own house on rent, but in this particular topic, we are allowing to use a particular house that is rental to another person. So, in house property, it is our own house, and in subletting house, it is rental house we are giving on rent. Next income in this category is income from let out factory or its machinery or furniture. Yes, it is also taxable under this head. Suppose a person who is the owner of a factory give the use of the right of the use of the factory, its plant, its machinery, its furniture or other equipment fully or partly to another person on rent, then this rent received is the income from other sources. Salaries of MPs and MLAs. Dear friends, these type of salaries are also taxable under this head. Any salary received by the member of parliaments, MPs, member of Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, that is payable by the central government of India to all the MPs, that is taxable under this head. Next is same category, that is the salary of MLAs or salary of MLCs, member of legislative assemblies and member of legislative councils, that they are receiving from the state government side, that is also taxable under this particular head. Remember, all the allowances allowed to MPs and MLAs and MLCs are 100% exempt, not to be covered in any type of income. Next is director's fees. What is director fees? That is very easy. A particular fees received from the company to whole-time director or part-time director for attending the board of directors meeting is known as director's fees. So, it is income for the directors and that is taxable under the head of income from other sources. Next income, that is insurance agent's commission. Insurance agent, whether related with life insurance company, whether related with general insurance company, both are covered under this particular head. So, any commission received by life insurance agents and general insurance agent is covered under income from other sources. Finally, we have the brief list of the sundry incomes, miscellaneous income, that is also covered under income from other sources. For example, ground rent received for hart or weekly market, income from undisclosed sources, income for delivering lectures or speeches by non-professional persons, examinership remuneration for teachers, invigilationship remuneration received by the teachers, income from agriculture from foreign country. Remember, income from agriculture on foreign land, because income from agriculture in India is exempt, but income from agriculture in foreign country, it is taxable under this head. Next is income from let out movable or immovable property excluding the house property, because let out house property is covered under the head of income from house property. Excluding house property, if we are giving any particular movable or immovable asset to a particular person on rent, that is known as income from movable property or immovable property. Deductions under this head. Yes, dear friends, like other heads of the income, we also have deductions under income from other sources. Total deductions we have exact 6. Now, let us start these deductions, discussion on these deductions one by one. First deduction is interest on borrowed fund. Suppose we purchase securities or debenture or bond of a company by taking loan from some other person, then interest on such loan is allowed as a deduction. But remember, when you are purchase shares of Indian company and paying the interest on that particular loan for the purchase of shares of Indian company, it is not allowed. Why not allowed? Because Indian company's dividend is exempt. That is why all the expenses related with dividend income, that is not a part of deduction at all. Second, that is bank commission, bank charges or collection charges on dividend and interest income. Same rule we have to apply here. On the interest income, all the collection charges are allowed, but when you are receiving dividend and when you are paying collection charges on that particular dividend, it is not allowed as deduction, because dividend income is exempt, but it is from Indian company. When you are paying collection charges for the collection of dividend of foreign company, it is allowed. When you are paying collection charges for cooperative society dividend, it is allowed, but when you are paying collection charges on the collection of Indian company's dividend, it is not allowed, because the dividend from Indian company is exempt. Third, we have to deduct all the expenses, recurring nature expenses, that is related with royalty income. Fourth, we are allowed to deduct all the expenses related with let out factory, for example, depreciation, insurance, repair, etc. Fifth, we are also allowed deductions of expense related with sublet house. For example, rent payable to the original owner of the house, the repair charges and insurance charges and maintenance charges of that particular sublet house. Sixth and the final deduction is family pension. Out of the family pension income, the 1/3 part of the family pension we received, I repeat, 1/3 part of the family pension received, or rupees 15,000. I repeat, or rupees 15,000, whichever is least will be the allowed as deduction from family pension. It is deduction, not taxable family pension. Out of the total family pension, 1/3 or rupees 15,000, whichever is least is allowed as deduction. But what is the main point in all these deduction? Excluding these 6 deduction, you cannot deduct any further amount under this head. No further deduction allowed excluding these 6. So, only 6 deductions are there. Tax deduction at source, in short better known as TDS. What is TDS? TDS means the deduction of the income tax at the time of its earning by its source. For example, suppose a bank, any type of bank, deduct the tax on the interest income made by the particular person on FD, that is tax deduction at source. It is the tax deducted by the source, but it is on the behalf of the particular person who earns the income. Under this particular head, under the head of income from other sources, we have certain incomes that is under the TDS rules of Indian Income Tax Act 1961. Let us look the list of TDS under this particular head. On casual incomes, that is more than rupees 10,000. I repeat, casual income more than rupees 10,000 is under the TDS of 30%. I repeat, 30%. Insurance agents commission, that is under TDS at the rate of 5%. Interest on bank deposit more than rupees 10,000, it is also under TDS at the rate of 10%. Interest on the securities issued by local authorities or boards or semi-government bodies, it is also under TDS of 10%. Interest on securities of listed companies and also unlisted companies, that is under tax bracket of 10%. It is compulsory to deduct tax on all these miscellaneous incomes. Grossing up income. Why the need of the grossing up income? When any particular person received any income after the TDS, it is known as net income. With this particular net income, the receiver, the income earner, also received a certificate that is known as TDS certificate. What is TDS certificate? When tax deduction at source made by a particular source, then he will issue a certificate containing net income, the rate of the TDS and the amount of TDS. This certificate is known as the TDS certificate. Why grossing up of this particular net income is required? The reason is when we are going to pay income tax, we will get the rebate of the tax we already paid in form of tax deduction at source. For this particular purpose, the TDS certificate is very important. Finally, we have to look which type of income with which formula we have to gross up. The gross up provisions we have, first it is casual income. Suppose any casual income like lottery winning is given in net or received word, I repeat net or received word, then it is compulsory to gross up that particular income assuming that tax is already deducted. What formula we have to use? It is net or received income into 100 and divided by 70. Why it is 70? Because 100 minus the TDS rate, that is 30%. So, 100 minus 30, it is 70%. For grossing up the interest on bank deposit, but it is more than 10,000, what formula we have to use? The same, interest income into 100 divided by 90. How come 90? That is simple, just like lottery winning, it is 100 minus 10. The last and the final, that is the interest received from deposit with firm or companies. Same, interest received into 100 divided by 90, that is 100 minus 10, it is 90. So, finally, formula is interest income into 100 divided by 90. The rules for the gross up of the securities interest we will discuss in our next show our next session, that is very important and it is a vast topic, that is interest gross up provision on securities. So, friends, we covered in this particular session some important aspect of income from other sources. We covered in this session the concept of other sources, main incomes of other sources, deductions under this source and the TDS and its formulae, provision and grossing up. I hope now you better understand all these concepts related with income tax, and all these topics will be useful for you when you are going to study the income tax and various heads of income tax. Thank you.